Hi Flosstube, it's Sam. Welcome to my channel, Stitch Again Sam, where I talk about cross stitch and other crafty endeavors. This is actually my Flosstube number 19, which is significant because 19 is my lucky number. So today is February 2nd, 2023. And my last Flosstube was a whip parade, so it was a little bit obviously different format. Today will be more typical. I know I gained a few new followers after the whip parade, which is pretty normal. So thank you to everyone that decided to subscribe after that. I really do appreciate it, and appreciate anyone that took the time to comment. Thank you. So it's February. This is pretty quick because I think it's probably been maybe only 2 weeks, maybe a little over 2 weeks since I posted that video. I'm trying to kind of do one a month. I know for those that maybe are new or don't remember, I am a CPA, so life will be getting quite busy in probably the next few weeks. So March and April might be a little bit dicey on the timing. So if I'm late or missing or whatever, just know that is likely the reason why. So we'll try to just get caught up today and hope that maybe I can squeeze something in at the beginning of March, and then maybe April's will just be late. Otherwise, we are, let's see, my youngest daughter is a senior this year, so we're kind of going through all the prom dress shopping and planning. So, someone else whose son is goes to the same school and obviously also a senior had posted on Facebook that let's see, it was no, that had to be longer ago than that. Whatever. It was exactly 4 months until like graduation day, the day she was posting, and I was like, oh my God, really? That for some reason made it sound so much closer than thinking it's, in May. But I mean, that is what it is. Okay. Anyway, so let's get into some cross stitch, okay? So let's start with whips. I only have one whip really that I worked on this month that did not get finished. And that is my dog's declaration. So this is my focus piece for this year. My goal is to finish it by my birthday in September. And I am stitching this on 40 count Tyco linen from Picture This Plus. Okay, it's getting like too big to fit in the thing. Okay, so what I really added this time around was this like tree. I think this is supposed to be a tree coming off of the Bee and Liberty, and this pot. Here, look at it a little closer there. This I think that's just a flower pot with some flowers. I know I also did some of the crowns along the top here and a few just other small motifs that were close by, but the tree and the pot were really the two big parts. I spent 11 days on this month, which kind of was a lot. I had done some in the beginning, which actually would have been things that you already saw, because I think that was all before the whip parade. There's no one there. Okay. So this tree and pot situation all happened in, I think it was maybe 6 days, the last, and I really just had gotten through everything else I had planned on doing in January. So I picked this up again. I really love stitching this. So it is almost difficult for me to put it down at this point. Hopefully that bodes well for the finishing. So that's my only whip that was left from this month. I had one finish, and that is I'm working on the series Square Dance from Heart and Hand. I believe Fat Quarter Shop Kimberly from Fat Quarter Shop is also working on this series. So my goal is just to stitch the month in the month. So this was January's turn. All right, this one got wrinkled because I actually did start February already. That is January. I am stitching this on 20 count Ada, and it is, I think that it was called for Vintage Country Mocha. That's what this is. I'm just stitching it on the not modeled side, the plain side, which is really what I prefer. I did change, and oh, my daughter did my nails for me with these cute little hearts on the fingers. They're starting to grow out a little bit. I'm trying to make them last through Valentine's Day. I did change the colors on this a bit. I kind of brightened them up. I'm gonna post something on Instagram about this, and I'll at least post what colors I used. And I think just by looking at the picture, you could figure out where. It's not that complicated. So if you're interested in that, I really just brighten them up a little bit. And in some cases, like there's some greens, like the scarf of this snowman and the hat over here. They were two different greens in the pattern, but even when you look at the pattern, I don't know if you would be able to tell, but they didn't look all that different to begin with. So I just used the same green. So it was probably just fewer colors for the most part used. And because I'm stitching this on 20 count linen, it is teeny tiny. And I have a frame that I actually think I'm gonna be able to use for this. And spoiler alert, there's the February start. I guess really I should have just included that in as a WIP, but I'm trying to say this is January progress, and that I really just started last night. These stitch up very quickly, like probably 2 days for me, and they're done. So that's the only thing that was a WIP, or a finish, which means the other things I stitched in the month of January are fully finished, which if you know me, that does not happen very often. But I am trying this year to partake in, it's Laura at Stitching by the Shore is doing this 55 finishes during the year. She's turning 55. I am also turning 55. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna give it a go and see if I can finish 55 things. Now, knowing I have 2 series of monthly patterns, plus I'm doing this other one. So like I could just do those and finish them and it would be 55 things, but I am trying to do some others. So as far as things that I actually stitched in January, one was Big Hearted Tiny Town, another heart in hand. This was my WIP focus for the month. I actually ended up kind of restarting it. All I had done it was this tree and part of this house, and I was using the DMC called for colors, and I didn't love it. Like, I don't know, when I went to do the roof, there was really no contrast to me. I just didn't love it. This is not necessarily done in all the called for colors. Oh, I don't even know if I really kept track. But this was another one, and maybe this is kind of a heart and hand thing, where I was like, okay, there's this light colored house and this light colored house and this light colored house, and it was like 2 or 3 different colors of floss, and I'm like, none of them are next to each other. They're just a light pink. Those could all be the same. And then, so what I really ended up doing was one color that was light for all of the light pink, one kind of a medium, darker pink for those, and then the color for the red. And then there were a few shades of brown, white, which this is on 32 count powdered pink splash Lugana. So the white probably really doesn't show up great. I ended up using a very pale kind of bluish gray for these little puffs of smoke that are coming out of the chimneys. They were originally like a very pale pink on the original, and I tried white, but it really just wasn't showing. Hi, Finn. So that is that one. I used a tutorial by Helen D. So check out her Flosstube. I'll try to link it below. That uses, this is a styrofoam block. I did trim it down And basically what you're doing is pinning it all. So you're pinning this piece kind of around the edges, you're pinning the backing fabric, and then you're making almost like a wide bias tape on the top to cover that seam. But she has much better instructions in her video, so check that out. And I did it that way because I was torn whether I wanted to do a finish like this or if I wanted to make a drum. So I did this because I had the styrofoam that I had purchased to try to do something like this. And I thought, it's really no big deal. If I ever change my mind and I decide I want to make it a drum, this is very easy to take apart. The piece will be fine. There's plenty of margin. I can totally still make a drum out of it if I decide to do that in the future. And I have a perfect spot in like the cabinet under our TV that has like a shelf that's kind of narrow. So things like this fit perfectly in it. So that is where it's living. And my husband even made a comment that it was nice to see some of the things I'm making actually like out and about in the house. So that was nice to hear. Okay, and then the other item that I stitched this month and finished is the 2023. So this is last year's collector's heart, also from Heart and Hand. This is a very Heart and Hand centric kind of month. I did not, so this pattern actually comes with the fabric and the floss, like I think they always do. I didn't use either. This was just a 36 count, I think. Yeah, like an ivory even weave. I actually had originally purchased it to use for the dog's declaration and decided I didn't like it. So, and it's funny because I didn't like it. I didn't like stitching over 36, and I think I tell myself I don't like it. This one I did one strand over 2, and I actually really do like the coverage on this. So I'm not sure what the difference is. The other one was, I was using weeks when I did that floss. So I don't know. I don't know if it's a difference in the floss, the pattern, but like even this heart, to me, it looks fine. It looks very solid. So maybe I shouldn't give up on 36 count so easily. And this frame, I am not entirely sure where this came from. It would have been a big box store, like a big box craft store, or maybe a home goods kind of place. Oh, I meant to grab. So it was one of those where it had like I think it was a Christmas saying or something on a piece of wood, like in the backing. And my thought was originally that I was just gonna mount this on foam and then sort of like stick it in there, because there's a pretty wide space in there. I have a hard time getting the foam straight and neat, and really, okay, I don't have this. This isn't entirely finished, okay, because I did want to show you guys this, right? So this frame has this little edge, right? And I thought, I wonder how hard it would be to actually get that piece out of the middle. Well, not hard. So take a hammer to it and just very gently put it on like a solid surface and tap, 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 and it just came right out. And then I just used pliers to pull out. You can see the holes where the little nails were that were holding it in place. So now I have that kind of edge that will hide any like imperfection in my cutting skills. But I'm debating if I want to attach this and really seal it up and put paper or something on the back of this, or figure out some other way to do it so that I can switch it out if I wanted to, but I don't know that I will. So I think I'm going to do something a little bit more permanent for this one. So that was that one. And this one it was a new start and a finish. So this was kind of my 24 starts in 24, along with my January square dance. So those were the 2 that I did for January. And I have like a list of, I don't know, types of patterns. So what I decided to do for January was something that was a single color. So that is why I chose, and mostly because I was really itching to do this one. So that's why I chose it. And I don't think I've ever done a single color item like that before. And it was fun. It was nice. It was nice to not have to worry about switching colors or anything. So probably more of those in my future. And then I have one more fully finished object, and it's so cute, it's so little. And it's this little pillow. This is one of the lovable, or the Petites collections that Little House Needleworks does. This was Lovable Petites. This is the only one I stitched out of it. Get the light right there. And it probably is going to be the only one I stitch out of that pattern group. I used, this was 32 count red pear linen from Weeks Dye Works, which notoriously I don't really like. I've tried it a couple times and it's very loose. I think the weave of it is very loose and I'm not particularly a big fan, but this, because there wasn't much that was solid on it, the light is doing some weird things. I'm not sure why, but it didn't seem so bad. And I mean, it's tiny, so little tiny pillow. Okay, I'm gonna show you the back, but I am planning to put something over this. So I did the just cut out the back and very messily stitched it. Okay, why is the light doing that? It looks to me, I don't know if you're seeing that too, like it keeps getting darker. Anyway, I am gonna put some little piece of felt or something on that, but I'm not worrying too much about it right now. And I did use my new Christmas gift, which was a sewing machine, to actually sew it. More on that later. So that's that little guy. And I mean, I think for a first attempt at a pillow, it came out pretty good. I filled it with the lizard litter, which I bought at Meijer's. And I have now a ginormous bag of it, but it does, I don't know. I'm sure I didn't do it right because I made kind of a mess. And I feel like I could have put more, or I know I've seen people do a little bit of just regular batting kind of fill, at least in the corners, and then fill the center. I think that probably would have been a good idea too, but whatever, I still like it. So those are my 3 fully finished objects for the month. So we're 3 in already, which I guess is probably not enough, but it's okay. For this month, it's good. Okay, a little bit of some purchases / gifts for this month. My mom and I went to a class at one of our local needlework stores. So I'm trying to be a little bit more mindful. I have so many patterns. I don't know if I talked about this in the last one. I really don't need to buy anything. But they had some of their Mill Hill kits on sale. So, and look at, he's called Santa Cruz. I think that's it. Yeah, Santa Cruz. And I have a few other kind of beachy theme ones. So he was a good fit and he was half off. So, and then they always have kind of a display. Let me take this out of the bag, of fabric, smaller pre-cut pieces of fabric. And this color just, all right, let's see if I can get a good, that's pretty good. It's like a grayish, oh my God, it just keeps changing. It's like a grayish purple kind of shade. It's called Filbert. It's Legacy Filbert is what this says. It's a 38 count little piece. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but I thought that it was pretty. And so now it is with me. So literally that is all I bought. I did receive for Christmas, which I didn't share last time, a whole bunch of Mill Hill kits from my mom, along with a gift card. So we'll just quickly go through those. So here's another of the kind of beach themed Mill Hills, the seagull. And this is one of those where I sent her here's some examples of ones I like, so that you can choose, because I didn't know for sure what they would have in the store, and she pretty much bought them all. This is what she does. And then there were a few Halloweens in there. I love this guy, the little, even though I'm not much of a martini drinker, but it's really cute with those little eyeballs. And I saw someone, oh, I don't remember who it was, but they made this and then they really framed it. They put it in a, almost like a shadow box frame, kind of popped up from the back, and that looked really cute too. So it's a possibility we might have to do that, something like that for that one. And then this was the other Halloween, this little pumpkin. That is Bewitching Pumpkin. I'm just kind of holding it with the angle because I think there's less glare. I loved these sleigh ride charmed ornaments. This is the traditional sleigh. I feel like I might be missing one. Maybe it was this. Well, I'm sure my mom will let me know if I am. And then two that were bells. Christmas bells and the Jingle Bell Trio. So I'm gonna try to incorporate some of these into my 24 starts this year. Okay, that pretty much takes care of cross stitch projects. 20 minutes, look at me. Okay, so we're gonna talk about some other crafting things that I've worked on this month. As I mentioned, I got a sewing machine for Christmas, meaning like I didn't really know what else to ask for. Like you get to a point in life where when you want something, you just go buy it. And so I don't really need gifts, but people in your family want you to get a gift. And so I'm like, what I really want is a new sewing machine. So I did the research. Research said, go to your local sewing machine dealer store and let them help you pick something out that's appropriate for you. And so I did that. My mom and I went together and they were very nice and helped me pick out, you know, like I don't need a super expensive machine. I'm not gonna be making huge quilts or like sewing my own clothes or doing anything too crazy. So I just needed something basic but nice, right? So I did that, and you got some like usage classes after, and they had some good like beginner level classes. So so I've done some sewing, but I'm gonna start with the one thing I did that is not sewing. And this goes back to the class I mentioned at one of our local LNSs. This is the Crafty You. Like I've mentioned before, I'm blessed because I have like two that are very close by. And she also sells some wool applique patterns and like just wool for wool like projects. It's not something I've really ever done, but now I can say I did because we made these. And this is I guess these are called quillies. So if you can imagine, they start out as strips that are, let's see, relatively thin strips of wool that you wind up into that pattern. And like if there's two colors, you just had two strips and wound them together and used different sizes to sort of fill in. This board, I think this probably came from the Target. Is it not really called the Dollar Spot anymore? Whatever it's called these days. The Dollar Spot. It was bamboo. It is bamboo. I chose to paint it. So the back and like this front edge are painted white. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's like a little divot. I'm sure it was supposed to be like a little baby charcuterie board thing. But there's sort of a divot in there. So it was relatively easy to paint like the center of the front red. And I just thought in case there were any of these little, like this little space here along the edge, it would be less noticeable if it was red, since most of this was red. So I did mine in predominantly Valentine specific colors. That she had lots of other colors of wool that you could choose from. And there were some people that did absolutely not Valentine's colors, like added in blue, like more prim, like blues and greens and everything. And they were equally pretty. And it was a relatively simple process. You just wind these up, glue the end, and then I hot glued them all over like the front. And you just sort of squish them together and fill in with little ones until it's pretty much fully covered. It said in the description of this class that this was like a trivet, but if you think I'm putting food anywhere near this, like that, no. It's just decor. I do think I'm going to add a little something on the back so I could hang it if I wanted to hang it somewhere. I feel like that is more likely. Right now it's just been sort of hanging out. But my mom had done this once before and made a tree, and like a Christmas tree version on a styrofoam cone shape. So that was equally cute. So we knew this was doable and that we could handle it. So we made that. Okay, now on to sewing. All right, so first extra class I did after my usage class was the how to make a quilt block. And I guess what it seems like is that they do this once a month. There's a, they kind of have this class and they do a different block every month and you just show up and make the block. So for sure, there were lots of ladies in this class that knew a whole heck of a lot more about quilting than me. But that's okay, they were all really nice and helped me out. I did make some mistakes on this, so it's not perfect, but this was the pattern. And it was just sort of like, bring your own fabric. And I had no idea what we were making. So, I'm not sure if this is the fabric I would have chosen for this, but it's okay. You can see, it needs desperately to be squared up. We're not gonna talk about why I messed up. I'm almost thinking about doing it again. Now that I know what I did wrong, doing another one correctly, but I'll make something out of this little guy, maybe a pillow. And I am signed up to do one more. And then I will be too busy to do any more of these. So we did this. So we learned how to make a patchwork thing. I learned about nesting the seams and whatnot. So all good. The second class that I took was, they called it the roundabout bag. Oh, and I do have the pattern. I guess that was sort of like a purchase too, and so it's kind of like a little tiny project bag. Oh, maybe that'll be mine. Okay, it matches me. This was intended to be made like a purse, like a little crossbody, long handled purse, but I didn't, what I am gonna use it for, and I'm gonna do it right now because they're right here, is use it for my Mill Hill kits. And probably I'll just keep the one in there that I'm currently working on, but it also has this little pocket in the front. I don't know, maybe it's just a good storage pouch for my Mill Hill kits. So this was really my intent, was this is gonna be where Samantha learns how to sew on a zipper. I mean, I did because I sewed the zipper, but we didn't actually use the zipper foot. And I feel like it would have been better if I would have actually used the zipper foot. But the lady's like, no, you don't need to use the zipper foot, just use the regular foot. And I don't know, I feel like it would have been better with the zipper foot, but it looks, it doesn't look bad. So I made that. Okay, so my whole point in wanting this machine was, one, to be able to sew things like my little pillow that I showed you earlier, and also I would like to make some project bags. And to that end, I may have during uh-oh, my battery's getting low. Okay. Okay, to that end, I may have bought a whole bunch of mini term pack fabric, thinking for a beginner like me, that would be the best way to attack this. And just because I wanted them to be these cute patchwork quilted bags, okay? Not just any old bag. I might make some ones that are solid fabric because, ooh, this is another purchase when I was at the store. Look at this fabric with these bunnies. It's tulip pink. So for sure this is gonna be made. I bought a whole yard of it, which I know I don't need that much, but I'm like, look at that one, peeking out. So for sure, I'm gonna try to make a project bag out of that because it's cute. So all I've done is make these patchwork sort of project bag, we'll say fronts. So I'm gonna quickly show you all the ones I made and I'll tell you what the fabric is because I kept the little tags. Okay, so this is called Feed Sacks Good Works. I don't know. So we have this one. I'll go through these relatively quickly. This is Frankie from Basic Gray. It's a Moda. I'm talking like I know what I'm talking about with sewing. That one. And I think I did a pretty good job of getting all my little corners to match. For the most part, I think it did pretty decent. This is Tiny Frights. I'm pretty sure it was Steph I just keep stitching. Had a project bag made out of like, oh no, it was one of the main, I thought it was one of the main fabrics of this, but now I don't see one that I think it is. But anyway, whatever. Cute. Just need a Halloween bag. This is Petunia. This is a Ruby Star Society. And it has little, I like the little radishes on that pattern. I had a hard time finding Christmas fabric that I liked. And I feel like I see Christmas, people making things out of Christmas fabric that I love, but I guess I couldn't find any in like pre-cuts like that. So this was Good News, Great Joy. I think this is the only Christmas one I have. And it's okay. But I prefer something a little bit brighter and a little more vintage even than this. So we'll keep our eyes peeled this year when things come out. This is Flowerland. This is another Ruby Star Society. That is my kind of colors. This one is just called Bluish, and it is sort of a sewing theme. Like there's some things that look like patterns and pins and scissors and such. So that I thought was cute. This probably is the most, I don't know, I shouldn't say that. One of my most favorites, but this is called Lazy Afternoon. It's a Moda, but that like pale blue with the oranges and gold, like mustard colors. Love that. We got one more. I saw lots of people sewing things with this last year, this Halloween. So, and it's very different from the other Halloween, so that's good. Bird Song. Yeah, we're not done yet. There's more. This really only took me a few days to put these all together. I hope what I did works. Like, I will talk about, okay, once I'm done with this, I'll talk quickly about what I plan to do with these. This is Fruit Loop. I think that's another basic gray. And this is one I have had for a while, and this is the C and Me. Since I have like a million beachy things. So my intent when I make a project bag, so most of the project bags I use are just those like cheap ones from Amazon that have the zipper on the top. Honestly, I sort of like the zipper on the top. Where's my other little bag? Okay, so instead of having this like extra thing, I don't know for sure. I'm gonna try making one where, imagine this is the project bag this way, where the zipper is just gonna be on the top. If someone has a reason why that's a bad idea, tell me please in the comments. But I'm like, why can't I, wouldn't that just be easier? But I do like the idea of having a pocket like this. So the pocket would run this way. The zip, okay, sorry, ran out of space. I feel like the world is working against me. All right, let's try this again. So make the bag, zipper here, pocket this way, which would be like this piece. And then I thought I can put my pattern kind of in that pocket so it's easy to sort of peek in and see what it is without having to unzip it. It's my theory. And there's actually a really cute Minky Kim pattern out there that is like this direction, but I think I can figure it out. So I'm gonna try one and see how it goes. And maybe by next month I'll have one like completed to show you, but that might be lofty of a goal. So that is really all I have to share with you today. Thank you for joining me. I do appreciate it. Like I said, and plans for February are sort of the same. I'm gonna pick one whip. I'm gonna have my focus piece, my dog's declaration, one whip to focus on, and 2 new starts that we're gonna work on. And I think that'll do it. All right, hopefully I will see you in March. Bye guys.